Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today's topic. The jury has reached a verdict. Your body is not guilty. So, I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this one, but we'll have some fun with it. This is all about clarity. And it's foundational. So breathe in the clarity. Exhale the doubt and the fear. Breathe in the certainty. Exhale the brokenness. So, the jury has reached a verdict. Your body has been found not guilty. So foundationally, Foundation 4. It's in the book. I talk about it a lot. It's also in the Fast Start playlist. I have a video about the 4 foundational principles. Foundational principle 1, what causes symptoms? It is the brain perceiving danger. Sometimes that perception is accurate. In the case of a true injury, you hurt your body, you fell, were in an accident, had some surgery for whatever reason, there is impact or cutting, and in those cases, there is a legitimate cause, body cause. Sometimes we get sick and we have symptoms. That's not a perceived danger, it's actual danger. And so, the brain's perception of danger is foundation number 1. Foundation number 2 is, does this apply to me? And that's where we do the assessments. And I know you probably get sick of me telling you to do the assessment. But I easily get 5 to 10 emails a week or messages a week going, hey Dan, this is what's going on, or this diagnosis, is this TMS? Do the assessments. That's how you know. It's not based on what I say. It's based on the assessments, which are well-formulated questions driven from years of clinical work by medical doctors like Sarno, Schubner, Clark, Schechter, Strax. Many of these questions have been formulated through years and years of clinical practice of medical doctors in a TMS space, mind-body space. And so this isn't Dan's opinion. Hey Dan, what do you think? What's your opinion? Is this TMS? So do the assessments. That's where we gain the clarity that we need. The assessments are at isthispdp.com. Isthispdp.com. There's 2 assessments there. If you have pain, I encourage you to do both. The first one is a link that brings you to another website to do the pain test. But right below that link is an FIT assessment with a number of questions. If you have my book, just turn to chapter 6 and the assessment is right there. If you would like a printed version of the assessment, www.painfreeyou.com/book resources. Enter your first name, your email, and your order ID from the book purchase. If you don't have the book ID, enter the word Audible or Amazon, but you should be able to find it, and it's preferred that you do that. But once you get to the book resources, there is a printable or downloadable assessment. I recommend you do the assessment individually per symptom so you have a real granular look at this. So once you've done that, it's going to give you an indication. 1 or more true answers means that your brain is perceiving danger and creating the symptoms. That's great news. Best news ever, right? That's the clarity that we want. Third foundation. Third foundation. Is there a cure? Yes, absolutely. I've got 110 plus success stories on YouTube and Facebook. painfreeyousuccess.com. These links will be down below in the description. But painfreeyousuccess.com. There's proof. This stuff works. This stuff works, folks, as I like to say. And 4th foundational principle. Do I have what it takes to implement this? Now, that's a trickier one because a lot of people say, I've been too scared, been anxious all my life, I've never felt safe. But the world's not a safe place, so how am I ever supposed to convince my brain that I'm safe, right? And so, fourth principle is, can I do this? And my answer to you is yes. I did a video a week or two ago where I said, if one person can get better, you all can. You can too. Go look for that. Scroll back. dansyoutube.com. Scroll back. If one person can get better, so can you, right? But once we got that foundation, I'm really encouraging you to listen to what the jury has decided. The body is not guilty. That's wonderful news. It doesn't matter how much you hurt, how wild the symptoms are, how weird they are, how disruptive or distracting they are. If they're created by the brain perceiving danger, your body is not the problem. It's an overactive alarm system in the brain perceiving danger incorrectly based on misinformation and fear. And when we correct that misinformation, we neutralize the fear. And is it easy? No. But it's doable, and it works. But once we correct the misinformation, neutralize the fear, the brain can then make a better decision based on the accurate condition of the body, which is your body's not guilty. Your body is not creating the symptoms. Your brain is. So, the big decision, accepting the verdict. Because what I'm going to tell you is, if the jury has reached a decision and has concluded that the body is not guilty, don't file 82 appeals and argue the case to try to prove that your body's at fault. There are no appeals, right? Because all appeals do is delay recovery. And if every time you feel symptoms or they get an extreme, if you lose sight of the actual cause and start to doubt and question, oh no, maybe the doctors missed something. Maybe I didn't do my due diligence enough. Maybe I'm being silly about this mind-body stuff. Look, symptoms are not proof of damage or illness. Symptoms are proof that the brain is perceiving there to be a problem. So symptoms are a very unreliable indicator of the condition of the body. They're an extremely reliable indicator that the brain is perceiving danger. So what does more intense symptoms mean? The brain is perceiving danger more intensely. And if you start to pay attention to your symptom flares, notice your fear, notice your catastrophic thinking, notice your focus and your attention and worry and predictions. Are you expecting the worst or are you expecting the best? And what you will find is there's a direct correlation between your fear levels and all those things I just listed and the intensity of your symptoms. So if your symptoms are really kicking right now, the solution is not more fear and panic, because that doesn't keep you safe. As a matter of fact, it's fueling the perception of danger. I will also say this. Avoidance also fuels the perception of danger, because if you avoid all sorts of stuff, it's really tough for you to convince the brain that, hey, my body's okay. If you're laying quietly in the dark, avoiding screens, avoiding noise, avoiding talking, and you're just laying there terrified, you're confirming to the brain that everything out there is the danger, when in fact it is a hypersensitive, overactive alarm system in the brain that has come to the conclusion that everything is dangerous, because a lot of things may trigger the symptoms, but those triggers are not the problem. It's the brain perceiving the triggers to be the issue. So I'm not debating at all the presence of the symptoms. All symptoms are real. If you feel something, it's real. It's just not caused by what you may think. So the body is not guilty. Do the assessments. And if I didn't mention it in this video, I may have forgotten. Do the assessments. isthispdp.com. Go to chapter 6 in the book. Come to the conclusion whether or not your symptoms are created by an overprotective brain. Once you have that, I'm going to really encourage you to accept the decision that the jury has come to. Because arguing from the back row in the courthouse, that's not true. What if this? What if... Look, the jury's reached a verdict. Case closed. No further investigation needed. And every time you try to reopen that case and reinvestigate it, that will delay recovery, because doubt absolutely fuels the perception of danger. We don't want to do that. That doesn't benefit you. It doesn't keep you safer. It just kind of keeps you stuck. And the last thing I want is anybody here to feel stuck, right? So foundationally, what causes symptoms? Perceived danger. Does that apply to you? Do the assessments. Get the verdict. Big decision. Accept it. Is there a solution? Absolutely. Pain-free. Use success.com. And can I do this? Heck yes. And if I don't put it in the description, remind me, but I'll try to find that video where I said if one person can get better, we all can. This stuff works, folks. I've never been more confident. I see it all the time. In today's group coaching session, we start out the meetings with people sharing progress reports, successes, wins, lessons learned. We spent an hour with people sharing progress and success. I mean, it's a 3-hour session, so we still had plenty of time for Q&A and coaching. But there was an hour's worth of people sharing things that they're so thrilled about, progress they're making, somebody getting all their foods back inside of like a week or two after being down to minimal foods for years, right? People being less reactive to mold, teaching their toddler to be unafraid of these things, because prior to that, this toddler had lived with parents that were fearful. And so we can do this with our children by being the message of safety. Hey, it's okay. You're going to be okay. I know you don't feel well, but your body's going to heal. And they had some great examples of the toddler getting a scratch. Perfect opportunity to teach the kid, hey, look, I know that scratch, it's not comfortable. It's going to heal. Watch. And over a couple of days, the toddler's going, look, it's healing. It's healing. So if you want some of that good energy of a group where we share successes, support each other, root each other on, share experiences that help other people get the light bulb moment sooner and more easily, join the group. PainFreeYouGroup.com. It's a great environment. People love it there. And somebody made a point to say, a lot of people want one-on-one coaching, but the group is extremely more beneficial than one-on-one coaching, because with one-on-one coaching, it's just you and me. And I don't do one-on-one coaching for 2 reasons. I don't have the time to handle all the volume. When I started up the group, I had a 3-month waiting period for one-on-one coaching. I just couldn't take all the demand. But what I found was, once I started the group, I've gotten more and more consistent feedback that the group is way more powerful than just a one-on-one session. You can still ask the same questions. You can still gain the same clarity. You can still get the same direction as you might with a one-on-one session with a coach somewhere. And if you're freaked out about the idea of being in a group environment, because I don't want to hear about other people's challenges. Well, just today I had somebody tell me that they love hearing about other people's challenges because they learn and they reflect on their own situation. So you can either be triggered by other people or inspired by them. And by hearing other people's challenges and what they're doing and how they're working through it and succeeding, that's going to help you build your resilience for your own experience. So, the jury has reached a verdict, folks. The body is not guilty. The sooner you come to that conclusion by going through those steps that I outlined, the sooner you're going to make progress and get better. If you keep on waffling back and forth and asking me the question, is this TMS? That doubt is keeping the perceived danger alive. And I have folks that I've been working with for years that are still asking me that question. Is this TMS? And that doubt is delaying their recovery. So, I love you all. I really appreciate you. Dig into the resources. Links are below in the description. If you're on YouTube and you're not a subscriber yet, hit the big red button. And I appreciate that too. Share widely. If you don't have the book yet, go get it. painfreeyoubook.com for the US or any Amazon website in your region of the world. So, love you folks, and as always, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.